All right, buckle up, film freaks, because we're diving headfirst into the gloriously perplexing world of Paul Thomas Anderson's music videos.
Uh-huh.
Now, you might think, music videos, what's the big deal? But trust us, this is less a dip in the shallow end and more like strapping on a submarine to explore the Mariana Trench of cinematic artistry.
Exactly. These aren't just your average, run-of-the-mill promotional clips. Not at
No
all.
way.
We're looking at these short, sharp bursts of creativity as a fascinating battleground for a fundamental question. In these collaborations, is PTA deliberately fading into the background, kind of a directorial ghost?
Right, is he just sort of vanishing?
Or is his signature so deeply embedded that it's practically tattooed on every frame?
That's the juicy core of our discussion today. On one side, you've got the argument that PTA's music video work sometimes feels like a conscious act of, well, getting out of the way. A quiet rebellion against the ego-driven director, almost an anti-brand statement. Think Miles Davis, right? It's not the notes you play, it's the notes you don't play.
That's a great analogy. Is PTA doing the same thing visually? Is that the idea?
That's the question.
Okay, so the core of this idea is that in certain music videos, PTA consciously chooses a less overtly directorial approach.
Right. Less flashy.
Exactly. Prioritizing the artist and the music itself. It's about serving the song, not necessarily showcasing the director's stylistic fireworks.
Okay, example time. Take Joanna Newsom's Sapokanikan. When you watch that, it has this beautiful, almost accidental quality, doesn't it?
It really does.
Just Joanna walking and singing through New York. The city is the spectacle, really.
It feels like found footage almost.
And get this. Apparently, those fire truck lights that flash across her face at the end, purely spontaneous.
No way.
Yeah. A happy little accident that he just kept.
That's a prime example of this perspective.
A director obsessed with control might have cut, waited.
Yeah.
Using it feels humble, almost, letting the world intrude in a good way.
It suggests a director willing to embrace chance and let the moment dictate the visuals. It's a trust in the authenticity of the performance and the environment. And being in New York, outside his usual LA stomping grounds, maybe prioritizing her world over his usual aesthetic.
It's definitely possible. Sometimes, maybe the authorship is in what he doesn't impose.
Which takes us nicely to Haim.
Ah, yes. Which feels so personal somehow.
Yeah.
Rooted in that shared San Fernando Valley background.
That valley connection, it feels like the secret ingredient, doesn't it? You really get that sense of their shared history, their friendship, like you're just hanging out with them in the valley.
Definitely. Like an unspoken shorthand between them.
And you see it, you feel it in the videos, that relaxed kind of documentary vibe. So Southern California.
Yeah, authentic.
Hallelujah has those single takes, each sister in her own space, very raw.
Very focused on their individual presence.
It feels almost voyeuristic, like we're peeking into these private moments. Very direct. And Man from the Magazine, just Alana, one take, Cantor's Deli, straight to camera, so minimal. But is that just framing their performance? Or is the minimalism itself the directorial statement?
I think it's the latter. The power is in stripping away the artifice. That's a directorial move, letting the emotion hit you directly.
And when Fiona's talked about working with PTA, she always mentions this incredible trust, right? Like he just got her and could capture her performance in a way that felt true. She even talked about Hot Knife, how simple it was. Just him, the camera, her music.
This really speaks to that notes you don't play ethos, doesn't it?
It does.
PTA seems to be deliberately holding back, choosing not to layer on directorial flourishes, allowing the emotional core of the music and the performers to resonate directly with the viewer.
I remember reading something, or maybe I just observed it through osmosis, who knows about his willingness to get out of the way.
Right.
Real generosity as a director, prioritizing the song and the musician above all else. He becomes this almost unseen facilitator, letting the magic happen organically. The argument here is that in these instances, PTA is striving for a direct, unfiltered connection between the audience and the music, minimizing the sense of a guiding directorial hand.
Which, with all due respect, sounds like utter nonsense. Getting out of the way.
Oh, here we go.
We're talking about the same guy who orchestrated the glorious chaos of the opening shot of Boogie Nights, the biblical downpour of frogs in Magnolia. You think he can just turn off the PTA switch?
Laughs. I knew you wouldn't buy it.
No way. Here's where things get truly fascinating, because even when you think he's being minimalist, that unmistakable auteur DNA is still very much present. You can feel it.
Okay. This brings us to the heart of the opposing viewpoint. that PTA's distinctive style, his authorial voice, remains undeniable even in his seemingly simpler music video endeavors.
Yeah.
We're talking about the consistent threads that run through all his work, regardless of the format.
Let's rewind way back to Michael Penn's try, his very first foray into music videos. And what does our man do?
What does he do?
He unleashes a long take that would make even Scorsese applaud. This wandering, fluid camera, so reminiscent of Boogie Nights.
Already flexing those muscles.
And get this, it even features Philip Seymour Hoffman and Thomas Jane.
Oh, wow. The Boogie Nights crew.
It's like a mini Boogie Nights reunion in an office hallway, which, fun fact, was supposedly the longest hallway in North America.
Seriously? For a music video?
For a 3-minute clip. That's not just getting out of the way. That's a directorial power move. That's showing off.
Absolutely. Even in his early work, you see that command of the long take, that seamless camera movement that has become such a hallmark of his style.
It's baked in.
It's a technically demanding approach that immediately signals a director with a very specific vision. You can't fake that.
And then there's his collaborations with Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
Their personal history aside, these videos are all over the stylistic map.
They really are. A real range. That period. It just feels so charged, doesn't it, in terms of the music videos he made with her?
Yeah, like a perfect storm.
It really felt like this intense meeting of, I don't know, two super individual Gen X artists, both just operating on this frequency of raw emotion, total honesty.
Unflinching is a good word for both of them.
Right. And the variety in what they did together is amazing. You've got this sort of grand, stark beauty of her Across the Universe cover.
The black and white one.
Yeah. And then you have the much more like intimate, almost verite feel of the videos from One the Pawn.
That's a great point. That shift in approach is really striking. Across the Universe is almost theatrical.
Yeah, bravura filmmaking.
And then something like Fast as You Can feels so much more, I don't know, off the cuff, spontaneous.
Totally. It shows how adaptable he is, right? He lets the song lead. It wasn't about imposing one style.
Well, capturing off the cuff is still a directorial choice, isn't it? You choose what spontaneity to show, how to frame it.
Good point.
Their relationship probably allowed for a different dynamic, sure, maybe more intuitive, but decisions are still being made. It's an adaptation, perhaps, but still his adaptation.
Okay.
Even in the seemingly off-the-cuff moments, there's this distinct something.
Yeah, feeling.
A visual sensibility that just screams PTA. You just know it.
What's particularly insightful here, I think, is the adaptability within his authorship. He can shift his aesthetic depending on the song and the artist,
Sure.
but the underlying craftsmanship, that keen eye for composition, the intimate connection with the performer, those elements consistently shine through. They're always there.
Fast forward to Haim's Summer Girl. On the surface, it's a pretty simple idea, right?
Yeah.
They shed layers of clothing as they stroll around L.A.
Simple concept, yeah.
But look at the locations. The New Beverly Cinema. That's not just some random movie theater. It's a cinematic landmark, a place steeped in film history.
I mean, the image of PTA himself pushing a camera in a wheelbarrow.
Iconic. Just pure filmmaking joy.
Totally. And the spontaneity of it, the thrift store outfits, the little cameos at places like the New Beverly.
It's his Los Angeles, even in a music video.
A very deliberate choice. Very PTA LA. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, think about how that ongoing collaboration with Haim directly led to Alana Haim's breakout role in Licorice Pizza. It almost feels like a little preview of the vibe in Licorice Pizza, you know, that loose, nostalgic feel.
That's a great connection.
They were clearly part of a deeper creative relationship, almost like extended auditions or informal screen tests. You can see the seeds being planted.
Okay, now we're talking. Radiohead. Daydreaming. Those aren't just long shots. They are meticulously choreographed tracking shots, weaving through all these different spaces.
Oh, that one's mesmerizing.
Basically just a series of those classic PTA tracking shots, right? Following York through all those doorways.
It's like Boogie Nights or Magnolia distilled into a music video tracking shot. Tom York just walking through doors, right? Sounds basic.
But it's not.
Not at all. It builds this incredible, like, dreamlike dread. And that ending, like, him by the fire in the snow.
So weirdly perfect.
Just wonderfully weird, right. And totally unsettling in that Radiohead way. Feels like exactly the kind of visual poetry only PTA and York could pull off together.
And the way he uses those transitional architectural elements, doorways, hallways, staircases, to create this dreamlike flow, blurring the lines of time and space. That's pure PTA visual storytelling, condensed into a few minutes.
Yeah, the structure is so intentional.
To me, that's not a director hiding. That's a director operating at the peak of his powers, flexing that specific muscle.
This raises a crucial point. Is he truly getting out of the way when he's employing such deliberate and recognizable techniques?
I don't think so.
The very form becomes a powerful statement, reinforcing the themes and emotions of the music. It's doing work.
Exactly. And the numbers for Radiohead, formal yet intimate, set against those stunning, almost apocalyptic LA mountain vistas, the way he frames Tom York.
Those compositions are beautiful.
These oblique, almost painterly portraits suggests a very deliberate aesthetic being applied even to a live performance, framing it in a specific, recognizably PTA way. And Anima really does push the envelope of what a music video can even be.
Totally.
Choreographed by Damien Gillet,
Who did Suspiria.
starring York and Dejana Roncion. It's not just promoting songs, it's this whole compelling, dreamlike narrative told through movement.
And the locations.
Yeah.
The Prague subway, those quarries in France.
Yeah, the limestone quarries, so otherworldly, adds this incredible visual poetry.
But here's the detail, the thing that just still floors me every time I think about it.
What's that?
They shot it on 65mm film.
Right.
65mm. The same format as The Master.
I know, for what's essentially, an extended music video,
Right.
that level of ambition is just kind of nuts.
It's insane. Think about the logistics, the complexity of shooting on 65mm anyway.
Oh, yeah. The detail it captures is immense.
And then doing complex choreography in those locations on that format.
Wow. And then releasing it on Netflix, sure, but also in select IMAX theaters.
Exactly. It's not just a video, it became a cinematic event.
And let's not overlook the thematic echoes with his features. Amy Mann's Savvy video, directly tied to Magnolia.
Oh, absolutely. Feels like a deleted scene.
It's practically an excised scene from the movie, featuring the same actors, that same melancholic, searching mood. It's a seamless extension of that cinematic universe.
It really is.
It's like he couldn't help but revisit that emotional landscape, even in a music video format.
That video perfectly illustrates how deeply intertwined his music video work can be with his larger film projects, almost serving as extensions or alternate takes on similar themes and characters. The connections are there if you look. Even when he's trying to be minimal, it's like he can't fully suppress it.
And maybe doesn't want to. That's the core of it, isn't it? Even when he's being understated, his basic filmmaking instincts, composition, movement, the look of the film, they're always there.
Choosing to shoot on actual film so often, that's a very deliberate, recognizable choice in itself.
Definitely. His visual DNA runs deep. So this quiet rebellion is starting to sound a lot like a very deliberate, very stylish quietness, like he's whispering his directorial intentions with a megaphone. Okay, rapid fire time.
Let's do it.
Let's throw some of these ideas back and forth. You say Sapokanikin is him getting out of the way. I say even choosing to keep that happy accident of the fire truck lights shows a director with a keen eye for visual poetry.
Okay.
And a willingness to embrace those unplanned moments. That's still a directorial decision, isn't it? He's curating reality, not just passively observing it. He saw it, he liked it, he kept it.
But isn't there an element of humility in that? Of recognizing that sometimes the most powerful moments are those you don't orchestrate. It suggests a trust
Humility.
in the inherent beauty of the world and the performance, letting things breathe.
Humility, and maybe with the capital H for he's still the one who yelled action and cut. What about that long cake in Michael Penn's Try? You can't honestly tell me that's not a director showing off his technical prowess right out of the gate.
Okay, fair point. It's technically impressive.
It's like a calling card. Hey, world, this is what I could do.
But the long take can also be interpreted as a way to immerse the viewer more deeply in the song's narrative and emotional arc, creating a sense of unbroken intimacy.
Maybe.
It's not just about technical skill, it's about serving the storytelling in a unique way. Maybe it serves the song.
Oh, come on. He uses long takes in his features all the time. It's practically his signature move.
It is.
And the fact that it stars Boogie Nights actors, it's like he couldn't resist a little inside joke, a nod to his own burgeoning filmography. It feels deliberate.
Perhaps, but it also speaks to the collaborative spirit he fostered early in his career, his loyalty to the actors he worked with.
True, that's fair.
It suggests a community as much as a singular vision. It's not just him.
Okay, but what about Anima? The intense, almost unsettling choreography, those surreal, dreamlike visuals, that's not exactly blending into the background, is it?
No, definitely not.
That's a director making a bold conceptual statement. That's maximum PTA.
No, Anima is definitely a more overtly stylized piece. I agree. But the level of directorial intervention, I think, often depends on the nature of the music and the artist's vision.
So it's adaptable.
Yeah, sometimes the goal is to amplify and interpret, like in anima, perhaps. Other times it's to create a more purely visual companion, maybe like Man from the Magazine. It's a spectrum.
Which brings us back to the slippery concept of authorship itself. What does it even mean for a director to have a distinct voice in the often more collaborative world of music videos?
It's a tricky question.
Is it always about those big, flashy stylistic choices? Or can it be a more subtle curatorial presence? Maybe PTA's willingness to seemingly step back in some instances is his distinct authorial intent.
That's interesting.
A quieter style of engagement, like we touched on earlier.
Hmm.
Maybe his signature is in his ability to choose when to be overtly directorial and when to let the music speak for itself. That choice is the authorship.
That's a fascinating point. Perhaps his directorial generosity, his apparent respect for the artists he collaborates with, becomes a defining characteristic of his music video work.
So the restraint itself is the style.
It's not an absence of style, but a different kind of style, a style of service almost, a conscious modulation.
And what about the musicians themselves? How much influence do they have on the visual style and the directorial approach? It's not like PTA is just steamrolling over their ideas, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It has to be a collaboration.
It's a dance, right?
Absolutely. PTA has repeatedly worked with artists like Fiona Apple, Haim, and Radiohead,
Repeat offenders.
which suggests a strong collaborative rapport and a willingness to adapt his vision to their individual artistic identities. He clearly likes working with them.
And let's not forget how he even releases these things.
Mm.
Surprise online drops, exclusive screenings at repertory theaters.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, after all this passionate back and forth, where do we ultimately land? Is Paul Thomas Anderson a directorial chameleon in the realm of music videos, capable of both bold pronouncements and quiet deference?
Mm-mm.
Or is his auteur fingerprint always indelibly present, no matter what?
I think, as is often the case with truly compelling artists, the answer lies somewhere in the nuance, you know?
The classic, it's complicated answer.
Kind of. He demonstrates a remarkable adaptability of authorship. He can be the seemingly invisible observer, the deeply collaborative partner, or the conceptually driven visionary,
He has different modes.
all depending on the specific project and the artist involved. He chooses his approach.
Yeah, it feels like he's consciously rebalancing that authorial dynamic, always serving the music first and foremost, but never truly erasing his own distinct sensibility.
Exactly.
It's not about a complete disappearance, but a different, perhaps more evolved form of engagement. PTA flavor is still there, just maybe adjusted.
Precisely. His restraint isn't an absence of style. It's often a very deliberate and effective stylistic choice in itself. The choice is the style.
So for you brilliant minds tuning in, the next time you stumble upon a Paul Thomas Anderson directed music video, whether it's Joanna Newsom wandering through the urban landscape, Haim hanging out at Cantor's, or Tom York navigating a surreal dream,
Go watch him again.
watch it with these two contrasting ideas buzzing in your head. What do you see as the balance of authorship? Is he hiding or is he everywhere?
Yeah, what's your take?
And maybe even take a deeper dive into the music videos of other renowned film directors. What do those shorter works reveal about their overall artistic identities? It's all interconnected, folks, a vast and fascinating web of creative expression.